Good evening, everyone. I'm Riley King, and welcome to the Riley King Newscast right here on the Riley King Network. Let's begin. First up, state rep accused of bilking welfare system. State representative from Salem was absent from his committee meeting Tuesday after he was indicted on 2 felonies. Rep. John Manning, Republican of Salem, is accused of bilking the welfare system of more than $13,000 in cash and benefits. He did not show up for Tuesday's morning meeting of the House Ways and Means Committee. According to court documents, Manning, 65, is accused of misrepresenting where his niece was living and where his son was employed. One indictment accuses Manning of claiming that his niece was a member of his household when she actually wasn't. The first indictment accused Manning of stealing $12,640,50 in cash and food stamp benefits. The indictment says that he allegedly theft took place between March 1st, 2013 and September 30th, 2014 in Nashua. The second indictment accused Manning of getting food stamps assistance for which he was not eligible. Investigators accused him of failing to disclose that his son was employed by the Rockingham CAF. According to the indictment, Manning allegedly received $714 that he wasn't entitled to. The felonies could carry a sentence up to 22 years in prison and $8,000 in fines. The Speaker of the House issued a statement noting that a person is presumed innocent until proven otherwise. Manning was not available for comment. Man sentenced in North Cortes puppy doe abuse case. A Massachusetts man convicted of abusing a dog so severely that he had to be euthanized was sentenced Tuesday, nearly 5 years after the dog, known as Puppy Doe, was found abandoned near a playground. Radosław Karczewski, 37, was found guilty of torturing and abandoning the pit bull, but cleared of lying to police. Karczewski is already in prison on 2 unrelated Lancey convictions. The judge ordered Karczewski to serve a total of 8 to 10 years in prison on the abuse charges, with some sentence for 12 charges, of which he was convicted of running consecutively, and some to be served concurrently. His prison time will be followed by a 2 years probation. The case received widespread attention when the year-old pit bull mix was found in Quincy in August of 2013 with skull, spine, and rib fractures. A stab would be the right eye and split tongue. Veterinarians determined the dog was too badly hurt to be safe. Chizowski's attorney acknowledged his client owned the dog, but said it ran away and someone else was responsible for the abuse. The Patriots Ledger reported that his attorney suggested during the trial that the dog may have been hit by a car or attacked by another animal. Chizowski's attorney didn't immediately return a message left at his office Monday. Norfolk District Attorney Michael applauded the Quincy Police Department for taking the case very serious from the onset. The animal cruelty charges for Chizowski carries up to 5 years behind bars. The state has sniffed the penalties in recent years, but will be sentenced according to law in 2013. The guilty verdict after the judge dismissed 2 jurors and replaced them with alternatives. Judge orders prosecutors to turn over documents in Sharon case. Let's take a listen to the video from WMTW News 8 Maine.
I'm very proud of what I do and what we do here as a team. Dates back to Maine heritage and just working hard. We have a lot of really good people ready to go and willing to do anything and hardworking.
And right now we have breaking news, an update from that hearing involving the mom accused of killing her daughter. A judge now ruling prosecutors engaged in procedural errors, seeking evidence was privileged, and they've been ordered to turn over the records from Shannon Cirillo's boarding school and employer and delete any copies. Cirillo and her husband Julio are accused of killing 10-year-old Marissa Kennedy.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. And now let's take a look at your U.S. stock market and see how your U.S. stock market closed for this Tuesday evening. And here's a look at your U.S. stock market. Your Dow Jones Industrial Average closed in the red and went down. Your Nasdaq closed in the red and went down. S&P 500 closed in the red and went down. CNBC IQ 100 closed in the red and went down. Gold closed in the red and went down. Oil closed in the red and went down. US 10-year closed in the red and went down. Euro/USD closed in the green and went up. And VIX closed in the green and went up. Nasdaq drops nearly 3%. Dow closes more than 300 points lower as tech rolls over. U.S. stocks closed sharply on Tuesday, easing early gains as a decline in the border tech sector brought the major averages down. Cops won't face charges in Alton Sterling shooting case. Let's take a listen to the video from ABC News.
Wait, what?
Let me be very clear. Our objective was to conduct a full and thorough examination of the evidence obtained from the federal government before any additional investigative steps were taken, and certainly before any conclusions were drawn. This process was to be conducted irrespective of any pressure to come to a quick conclusion. Not in this investigation or any other do we sacrifice completeness for speed. Our investigation has concluded that Officers Lake and Salamone attempted to make a lawful arrest of Alton Sterling based upon probable cause. During that encounter, Mr. Sterling continued to resist the officers' efforts to arrest him. The officers used verbal commands of varying degrees and tried to control Mr. Sterling with several lethal techniques. Toxicology reports showed the presence of several scheduled and illegal drugs in Mr. Sterling's system at the time of the incident. Considering this, it is reasonable that Mr. Sterling was under the influence, and that contributed to his non-compliance. Throughout the encounter, the officers attempted several non-lethal techniques to gain compliance and control of Mr. Sterling's hands. Their efforts to do so were a direct result of the information relayed to them by the Baton Rouge Police Department dispatcher. That was that Mr. Sterling was armed with a firearm. Therefore, their attempt to gain control of Mr. Sterling's hands were well-founded and reasonable under the circumstances and under Louisiana law. Furthermore, the officers concerned that he was armed and dangerous was in fact subsequently verified and correct. The seminal question presented is whether Officers Howie Lake and Blaine Salamone can be held criminally responsible for the death of Alton Sterling under applicable laws of the state of Louisiana. Our job was not to determine whether the Baton Rouge Police Department's policy was followed or if certain tactics or language was more appropriate than others. After a thorough and exhaustive review of the evidence, the facts that can be established beyond a reasonable doubt, the law and jurisprudence of the state of Louisiana, and the obligations of prosecutors under the Code of Professional Conduct, the Louisiana Department of Justice cannot proceed with a prosecution of either Officer Lake or Officer Salamone.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. And that does it for the Riley King Newscast right here on the Riley King Network. I hope you all have a great rest of your Tuesday night, and I'll be back with another newscast tomorrow. Good night, everyone. Bye.